between 3 and 10 days post-election, so they scrambled to gather the resolutions and the documents and get the correct numbers from the county, and it was a very last-minute thing from the county, so we're appreciative to you for your work. So we're adding item number 6.1, which is review and act on the resolution canvassing the return of the votes on the school board member election. And I believe that is the only change, correct, Superintendent Evenson? Okay, so please add 6.1, and the other ones will all just get moved down a number. So I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the late addition.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Ryan, do we have a, Connie seconds. Any questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, our consent items, we have the regular minutes from our October 10th regular meeting, our October 24th workshop meeting, our October monthly finance reports. Our donations this month are from Christine Rausch for the JHS band in the amount of $500, Jordan Lions Club for the JHS game ball in the amount of $358, Jordan Fire Department for community ed scooters in the amount of $469.28, Diane and Mark Unholt to the TRAP team in the amount of $100. We have the resignation of middle school special ed paraprofessional Alyssa Knobloch, resignation of the CERC administrative assistant Annie Matson, resignation of the high school baseball coach Brent Garacki, resignation of the middle school boys basketball coach Anthony Kuski, leave of absence for our middle school principal Ben Bakeberg, declaration of surplus items. We have a CERC roll machines, and we have volleyball uniforms 2022 and ellipticals 2022, declaration of surplus items, trophies 2022, declaration of surplus items of kitchen items. So those are the consent items. I will entertain a motion to approve consent. Molly, is there a second?
Second.
Lauren seconds. Any questions or comments? Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Review, and this one we may struggle through a little bit because there's several resolutions. 6.1, review and act on the resolutions canvassing the returns of the votes of the school board member election. So, Superintendent Evenson, do you want to start with this?
Yep, so we worked with Scott County and our supports at MSBA just to make sure that we were in compliance with how we canvass our election. Big thanks to Julie at Scott County for getting us the numbers ahead of the meeting tonight. I know that that is a huge task for them to go through and certify and make sure everything is accurate. The first resolution tonight is resolution canvassing return of votes. On that one, it lists all of the votes, vote getters, total number of votes, and we would act on that first.
Okay, can you pull that up, Stephen or Jamie?
It's not showing on the screen.
Yep, I know, I'm trying to figure it out.
Here, Deb, it's right here.
Yeah, I've got a copy here. I just wanted for them. Basically, it's saying, be it resolved, the School Board of Independent School District 717 hereby found, determined, and declared that the election of the voters of the district held November 8th, 2022 election was in all aspects duly and legally called and held. And then as specified in the attached abstract of votes cast, a total of, we'll have to fill in the total number of votes there.
My copy
The
says-
total number is filled
We got
in.
it.
Okay, on here it's
It's
not.
linked,
Okay.
9,831.
Okay. And then it goes on and it breaks down the votes that each of the 8 candidates got. So, And with that, I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution canvassing returns.
I'll motion to approve.
Sarah, okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Ryan seconds. Any discussion, questions? I just want to personally thank everybody that, that ran for the, for the position, and personally thank them. It takes a lot to stick your, to go out on a limb and put yourself out there, and so I'm very appreciative to all 8 of the candidates. So, and congratulations to the winners. So with that, this is a roll call vote. Jamie?
Ryan Daner,
Yes.
Lauren Pedersen,
Yes.
Connie Hennon,
Yes.
Sarah Lehman,
Yes.
Molly Maniak,
Yes.
Rob Langheim,
Yes.
Deb Paul.
Yes. Okay, and just so you know that these numbers are verified through the Secretary of State's office, and that, they're counted at the county, and so it's our job to canvass them and approve them. Then the second resolution,
The second resolution is authorizing the issuance of certificates of election. And so essentially what that does is it allows the school district, on behalf of the school district, our 4 highest vote getters, Corinne Hennon, Jenny Kuski, Deb Pauley, Rob Langheim, to receive an issuance of a certificate that will say that they officially won the election. And so with that, then it allows our election worker here, Jamie, at Jordan Public Schools, to move forward and do all of the next steps.
okay, I'm not going to read the whole resolution unless somebody wants me to, so. And with that, I will entertain a motion to approve that resolution establishing, that's combined, whatever Renee just said.
Authorizing
This is a
issuance
different-
of certificates of
Yes.
election, yeah.
Motion to approve the authorization of issuance of certificates.
You have a good memory.
You did good.
Man.
Ryan moves, is there a second? Second. Molly seconds. Questions or discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Lauren Pedersen,
Yes.
Connie Hennon,
Yes.
Sarah Lehman,
Yes.
Molly Maniak,
Yes.
Rob Langheim,
Yes.
Deb Pauley,
Yes.
Ryan Daner.
Yes.
Can I make one more comment?
Yes.
And then, just so you're all aware and you can see in board book, we have linked all of the general election information, all of the documents from the county as well. Those are all public, and then also the clerk's certificate as to abstract and return cast of votes. And that's something that Jamie Fremming signs to certify that she is accurate in her work with that.
So this document, and as Superintendent Evenson said, as shared there, it breaks down all the votes by townships and by the different districts. What's the term? The voting districts in the city.
townships,
No, the city.
Oh, yeah. Precincts?
Precincts, thank you, I
yeah.
couldn't think of the word, yes. So that's broken down. So having said that, this document I will pass around. It requires every board member to sign it, and Jamie will have to file that with the powers to be. So I'll sign it, and then I'll pass that around. And then I believe the next step, Rob, this will be for you too. Jamie will create 2 documents. One of them is an oath of office. In January will be the ceremonial oath of office, but technically we have only so many days to do the official oath of office. So there's that document, and then there's another document that states the vote count specific to each member. So she'll be having to do that within the next couple days, so we'll have to coordinate coming and signing that. And Superintendent Evenson and I will work with Jenny Kuski and Corinne Hennon and get them to sign theirs also. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. We voted, right? Yes, we did.
Yes.
Okay. I believe that's it for canvassing, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So 6.2, review and act on the school year 22-23 American Indian Education Aid Application and Budget. And I'm going to invite Chad Williams and Alan Hodak to the microphone.
Chair Polly and Board, I just first want to introduce Mr. Hodak as Chair of the American Indian Parent Advisory Council, and I want to thank him and Ann Hegel, previous chairperson, and Jeff Visner, Deb Pauley, Renee K. Stevenson, Sarah Miller, and that's basically the people that have really helped develop this plan and aid application. And I just wanted to first thank them and then introduce Alan as chair, and he can share with you the great things that we have done and the great things we'll be doing this year.
Thanks for having us tonight. As Chad said, just wanted to go over the aid application form. Again, want to thank Renee, Chad, Deb, for their time working with this group. Sarah Miller, as Chad mentioned as well, is our coordinator for us, and Jeff Visner, also from the district. This year, our aid budget is $33,604. We've been able to split this among different areas in the past. And basically with that, through the group, we've been able to help fund college visits for kids. There's an eagle feather ceremony at the end of the year that all the kids and their families are invited to, that I know those who have attended, I think all have commented on how great of a evening that is. Coaching or / tutoring for kids that maybe need help with some of the academics after school. There's a horse camp, cultural learning, whether it be drumming, beading, stuff like that. Books for the district. We've helped pay for professional development speakers that have came into the district. ACT prep, transportation for the coaching after school. Cultural gatherings, and also for our APAC coordinator, Sarah, as well. I guess as a council, we really feel we have a really good working relationship with the district, and feel that in the last 4 or 5 years, we've came a long ways as far as implementing a lot of the stuff for the kids. We look to do many of the same offerings that I've just went over in this next year, with no more than half of the budget that would go towards payroll for some of those positions. Obviously, our ultimate goals are to help prepare kids for life beyond high school, both educationally and culturally, and I guess just ask for approval for the aid application. Thank you.
I'd also like just to jump in, thank you, Ellen, and thank you to the committee. I absolutely love working with our APAC team. They are such a student-focused group, and just do really meaningful things to support our students. So, you know, I feel proud of this plan. I think that it really exemplifies the kinds of things that we want to do with kids. So thank you to Ellen and to the whole committee. So we would just need a motion then at this time to approve the plan.
Sure. Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the APAC plan.
Motion to approve.
Ryan, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Rob. Discussion or questions? No? I too want to thank Ellen and Chad and all the hard work that goes into it. And Sandy used to serve in this committee, and so I stepped in after Sandy left the board, and I'm just so impressed with the amount of offerings and the amount of things that they're doing for our Native kids. Really great stuff. Make sure you get May 3rd on your calendars for the banquet. It is an amazing event. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Chad. Okay, review and act on the 22-23 World's Best Workforce and Achievement and Integration. Dr. Yamlin.
Hello. So the annual World's Best Workforce Report adheres to that Minnesota legislation that requires adopting a long-term comprehensive plan to support and improve teaching and learning based on the guidelines listed in the statutes. So the 2022 World's Best Workforce Overview was included in tonight's board packet. So I'll just quickly summarize a couple of the key points within the report. So World's Best Workforce legislation includes 6 specific areas for schools and districts to address. The first focus area is having clearly defined goals centered on 5 specific topics. These goals were created during this summer's data retreat with building leadership, teachers, and staff creating each goal. So our specific goals under the goal area, all children are ready for school. At least 60% of kindergarten students will score at or near proficiency for kindergarten readiness skills in math and reading based on our FastBridge Spring 2023 testing data. The next goal area, all third graders can read at grade level. At least 60% of students will meet or exceed proficiency on the Reading FastBridge assessment in the spring of 2023. The next goal area is that all racial and economic achievement gaps between students are closed. For reading, the district will decrease the average achievement gap between free and reduced price meals and not free and reduced price meals by 5% based on spring 2023 MCA testing data. And for math, the district will decrease the average achievement gap between free and reduced price meals and not free and reduced price meals by 5% based on spring 2023 MCA testing. The next goal area is all students are ready for career in college. So our goal is at least 90% of students will create a personalized learning plan by the end of their 10th grade year. And the final goal area is all students will graduate from high school, and our goal is Jordan High School will remain at or above 92% in the 4-year graduation rate cohort model for the 2022-2023 school year based on the state's report. So those are our specific goals, and again, those were created based on the data discussed at the data retreat. The rest of the World's Best Workforce Plan focuses on the following areas: just the district's process for instruction and curriculum review, the district's professional development framework coinciding with educational practices, solidifying that our district's spending is aligned to learning, and ensuring that the district employs an equitable and effective staff. So this plan was also reviewed and discussed at the District Curriculum and Technology Advisory Committee in November for public comment and feedback. And those are basically the key areas of World's Best Workforce Plan. Any questions?
Erin, do you want to talk a little bit about the 92% graduation rate? Because I think a lot of people hear that and think, oh.
Yep, so the state has a specific formula that tracks students. So if a student, for example, was in our district in 9th grade for 1 month and then left, and then ultimately did not graduate, a portion of that student's graduation rate is factored into our graduation rate. So we do our own calculations based on our seniors, and then the state comes out with their calculation, which is always slightly different simply because it does track students who have since left our district.
What's the state's rationale for keeping that within our count? I mean, because if they've left the district, how can we impact whether or not they graduate?
It's a percentage, so it also, on the other hand, if a student has been with us maybe 3 weeks but until graduation, then transfers, then it would go to that new school. So it's, I'm guessing it's a formula based on amount of time in our district. So their rationale is we're all part of that educational journey of that student.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all I've ever read about it, so. It's hard when it's a student who's been here for maybe a month in 9th grade. So that's hard, but. So we just keep track of both, what the state says and then our own records. Any other questions?
Other questions for Erin? Okay. Great. This is an action item. So with that, I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Dr. Yamlin. I'll entertain a motion to approve the World's Best Workforce Plan and Achievement and Integration.
So moved.
Connie moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Sarah. Okay, any further questions or thoughts?
I just want to say that I've really enjoyed being on this committee for the last 9 years, and I want to commend Dr. Yamlin and the committee. There's some people that have been on the committee for a lot of years, and they take this job really seriously, and it's always there's an open mic time during this meeting to say comments and concerns, and I'm really proud of the work that Dr. Yamlin does on that committee.
Ditto. Good. Thank you, Connie. Okay, further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same, opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 6.4, CERC update. Mr. Johnson?
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So on an annual basis, Community Education and Recreation Center, we analyze our rates for memberships as part of the CERC. And in the past 2022, we raised it 10%. Looking at this year at a lot of different rates, we presented it with our advisory council and came to a conclusion that 10% was an ideal rate for us to increase it for this next coming year. Also, I've presented to you all at the workshop session on October 24. I have included some of the data based on what our 10% increase would be and what the actual rates would be. We rounded up to the nearest dollar as we go. So it is my recommendation to move forward with a 10% increase starting January 1st for CERC memberships.
Okay, I will entertain a motion, and then we can discuss.
Motion to approve.
Molly moves, is there a second?
Second.
Ryan seconds, okay. Discussion?
We pretty much discussed it thoroughly.
Yeah, I
at
think we
our
hashed-
board
hashed
workshop,
this.
so I don't want anybody like in the public thinking we haven't talked about this, but we thoroughly discussed it at our workshop meeting, which is typically what we do.
Yes, great, thank you, Lauren.
Mhm.
Yep, okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Okay, 6.5 is resolution establishing combined polling places for multiple precincts. This is something that school districts are supposed to do on an annual basis, so that if you have a special election and the voting takes place in one place, like when we have a special election or a referendum vote, the election takes place here, the voting, whereas when it's a general election, it happens in your precincts, thank you, in your precincts or in your townships. So this is a resolution that combines polling places in the event that we have a special election or a referendum. So it's just something we have to do. So looking for a motion, this is a resolution, looking for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Sarah seconds. Okay, any questions or comments?
I would presume that if we didn't do this, we would be on the hook for paying for all of the required polling places, right? Like, I mean, so.
Yes.
General election, they're in the
Yes.
various townships,
Right,
the report that we just looked at, so this is combining all that to the
Mhm.
CERC for.
so that we have one spot for it, correct? Good question. Okay, any further comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please, Jamie?
Connie Hennon,
Yes.
Sarah Lehman,
Yes.
Molly Maniak,
Yes.
Rob Langheim,
Yes.
Deb Polly,
Yes,
Ryan Daner,
Yes.
Lauren Pedersen.
Yes.
motion carries. Thank you. Do you want to pass this down to Lauren, please, for signatures? Thank you. Next, we have facilities update. We have some guests with us tonight.
I'll get us started. All right, Chair Polly, members of the board, and guests in the room. Tonight, we're going to have a facilities update. As you are aware, we recently, next slide, please. We recently completed our community survey. One of the things that I'm super proud about is the level of engagement that we had with our community. We had over 900 responses, and when you think about that number and you think about the validity of the information, it's huge. The group that we worked with, School Perceptions, they do this professionally. It's professional polling, and they, really felt like over a 10% response rate really is valid and reliable. We had over 20%, which is excellent. And very helpful, because as we, looked through the survey results, we had very clear direction and feedback from our community members. So specifically, when you look at the facilities priorities For our elementary, it was very clear that the preference was a renovation of our 1974 wing and expanding the building versus the other model where we knocked down the front of the building. So the renovation was by far the most supported. Additionally, with the elementary, the inclusion of additional classrooms to prepare for projected growth was important. A new cafeteria / multi-purpose space was really important. Right now, our cafeteria is really, really tight. This would double the size of a cafeteria space for us and then provide some multi-purpose space as well. A full gymnasium, it was very clear that we needed a full gymnasium so we could host middle school games and such versus a pared down gymnasium space. Enhancing the secure entrance at the elementary is a big priority for us, as well as expanding our early learning space and providing just some significant space for them and dedicated space for kids company as well. Also inclusive of windows, doors, and other components as well. That's what our community said. In addition to that, enhancing the secure entrance at the high school was a big priority for our community feedback. Additionally, within that survey, we found that the 50% support threshold was crossed for a bond amount smaller than 36 million. So it was very clear that whatever we wanted to do, and they told us what they wanted to be done, but we needed to do that for an amount that was under 36 million. And so that was important for us to think about. And then support for the plan increases as well as you move lower than that threshold, but within the project scope. So that was important for us as we started to weed through some of that feedback. And then also consider refining the plan to update the elementary school and high school, enhance secure entrance at a lower cost. So we've been meeting with staff and really looking at those plans. I feel very excited about the progress that we've made since we received this feedback in looking what we can accomplish and do at the elementary and at the high school and stay in alignment with the community feedback and stay in alignment with the feedback on the budgets as well. So when you think about that, improving educational adequacy is really important. We want to make sure whatever we do, we're thinking about student learning and student safety. In addition to that, we're looking at planning for future growth, and then all of those facility needs that we've been looking at since we had the assessment done almost 2 years ago. And with that, I'm going to flip to the next slide and introduce John Hunick from Kraus Anderson, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about the planning.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, Chair and members of the board. Well, Renee talked about the survey, right? We need to listen, and if you listen to school perceptions, that's one thing is their lead behind. Listen to the survey. So that's what we're doing. So we've met with staff and said, okay, can we come up with a plan? And remember, there's a dollar amount in there too that we're riding that threshold and based on a tax impact that the community would support. So we took that information from the survey, and we have a new drawing in front of you. We've talked about a little about these already. I'm going to start in the upper left of the drawing. So there'd be a gym addition that's about 8,000 square feet. So you'd be able to hold a full size, it'd be a good middle school game gym, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. Maybe a few bleachers on the side. So, but definitely much bigger than the gym that you have now. Below that are restrooms, and then the cafeteria and kitchen and a receiving area. But that cafeteria, the neat thing about the plan here, it's not just a cafeteria. So in the morning and afternoons, it can be a multi-use space. It could be a maker space. There's a lot of other things that could be done with that. In fact, we just finished, it'd be fun to tour. It's in River Falls, Wisconsin. We did that to all their elementary schools. They have 4 elementary schools. And it's a really neat space that they use all day long. Another thing I'm going to add that I haven't talked about much, some new codes, are storm shelters. So the Minnesota has adopted that code. So the addition, likely the gym and the restrooms will be a storm shelter. It definitely adds to the expense of the gym. But like I said, anytime you add capacity to a school or a state building, of this, and where we have the 6 classrooms to the right, means we have to do it per code, okay? It does add money, but there is a benefit of having a storm shelter there too. So we have the 6 classrooms with the flexible learning space right below it. And the lighter blue, I'll call it, baby blue, we have services for special ed. Okay, that area in light blue or baby blue is gonna be a heavier remodel. The area to the right of that is gonna be, before we talked about just tearing down all the walls and starting over. So we met with staff and said, can we reuse these walls? Still improve the educational adequacy, change things a little bit. So we lighten that remodel a little bit to make the plan, bring the cost down. Okay? And then we have the restrooms being remodeled, and then the early learning space in green to the right. Any questions on this plan at all? And I got a site plan after this.
Just that light blue, that's where the classrooms are that you have to go through one classroom. to the
Correct.
other one.
So they'll all have their own entrance.
Yes.
So there's no-
Can I jump in on that? So, Molly, to your specific question, so one of the things when we started looking at how can we make this plan work and how can we stay within the budget, we knew that that space, that light blue, had some unique space issues, like the pass-throughs and not helpful for a gen ed, regular ed classroom. But we also know we have some programs that require 2 classrooms, like an ASD classroom, for our students that have special needs, where they have their instructional space and they might have some large motor things, like a swing and all of that. We have our DCD space that also benefits from 2 classrooms. So by keeping that intact and moving special programs into that space, plus doing a remodel and adding some quiet space within that, we can save a significant amount of money by re-envisioning the use of that, plus enough money that we can actually continue to add the 6th classroom addition. So those would likely still have some pass-throughs there, but it's okay because it would be one program.
And the pass-throughs are only
Yep.
on the ones on the left,
Mhm.
right? But not the ones in the middle of the big square. Those are
Correct.
not pass.
You can get through a hallway in the middle, but it's the end pieces.
Right.
It's those 2 end rooms
Correct.
that have that pass-through. And so by looking at the usage and being intentional with that, we actually can make that work to our advantage.
And then I just have a question.
Yeah.
In regards to adjustments that we had to make over COVID, right? Where some of the
Mhm.
walls were cut so teachers
Mhm.
could teach into 2. That will
Yep.
all be,
We'll be looking at all of that.
okay. So
Mhm.
day-to-day instruction for
Yep.
teachers outside of those areas, they'll
Yep.
have their full classrooms.
We'll be looking at all of it.
How many classrooms were originally in that light blue space?
8 maybe? I think
8.
So we're taking out 8 classrooms and replacing them with the ELS and the special ed? And
But
then-
we're recapturing as well, because right now we have those classrooms somewhere else in the building. So we're recapturing those as gen ed classrooms.
Right.
It's
Those-
just-
those
it's just
spaces are
switching
up-
So
and
those
using
6
it.
classrooms are truly 6 additional classrooms, which adds capacity of
Correct.
how many
That's the plan.
students?
However many you build it for, 25 per
So
classroom.
25 per class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So an extra 125 kids?
Mhm.
Right.
Yep. The other piece too, John, if you don't mind, I'm gonna just
Yep,
jump
go
in
ahead.
here. You all know when we walk into JES, we didn't mention that little pink spot. So, you know, we have that dead zone in there
yeah.
as you walk in, or there's not a lot of usage there. So we're looking at enhancing the secure entrance in that point of the elementary as well, because we heard from our public, think about your enhancing your secure entrances at the high school and the elementary. We have a great model here at the middle school. We're gonna look to do something like that as well, in this space. The other thing, right when you walk into JES on the left, we've lost 2 classrooms to Kids Company, 2 instructional spaces to Kids Company. It's wonderful to have Kids Company, but we're looking at dedicated Kids Company space. You can see the green ELS space. We're able to shift that into there where the cafeteria is. So it's actually, I'm very excited, sorry.
Yeah, so then you pick up those 2 classrooms where Kids Company is now.
Yep.
Just a reminder to turn your mic on for anybody that might be.
Mine's on. It's been on the whole time, I haven't turned it off. Is the multi-purpose space that's in the back by
ELS.
by ELS still there?
ELS. It would be ELS space.
It would be ELS space?
Yes.
And then what is the old gym space gonna be utilized for?
Well, we'll make those decisions administratively afterwards, but we can use it for whatever we want.
Is
They-
it gonna stay a gym?
Yes,
Yes.
because they might use it for smart
Indo-
room space, that we're not having a classroom where a smart room is. We might have extra gym classes that are in there.
Indoor recess, things like that.
Okay, and then the big gymnasium, that's gonna be the new gymnasium, is it like the size of the middle school gym, or is it like the size of a CERT gym? With like the extra,
It's a full basketball court.
I don't think it's the size of the middle school.
No,
Middle
it's
school's
not.
got like
Middle
full
school gym's a
bleachers.
high school
Yeah,
gym.
that's a
Yeah.
high school gym. It would be a cert court.
it's a
Yeah.
CERT court.
Yep,
Which is still a full court.
it's a full court.
You can still play.
And then
full game.
I
You're
feel
just
like
gonna have
it's,
limited
Like
seating.
River Valley.
and I feel
So
like
it's gonna be like River Valley. Okay.
and I feel like it's really important to point out, this is all square footage. We have not engaged an architect intentionally at this point. Once we get to that point, then we'll get into design. So this is just space and square footage.
This is space and square footage that then has a cost that's attached to it? Okay,
Yep.
Exactly
got it.
that.
Yep, it's coming up.
Is there, like, when you say that you're gonna make this like a, where they go for?
Storm shelter.
Storm shelter.
Mhm.
Is there any way that we could recover some federal funding or anything? I mean,
Yeah,
looking
good
long-term, because it would be a
yeah.
safety thing for our school?
Good question. There are grants available, federal grants. There's a person by the name of Jordan Buss who writes them, so I could contact them. I know lately there's been so many hurricanes and flooding down south, Florida and elsewhere, that all the federal money's been going there. So in the last year or two, there hasn't been any money that made it to the Midwest, but it doesn't mean we can't ask. I can certainly get a proposal from Jordan, get it to Renee and her staff. We did a few last year, and they ran about $9,000 just to write the grant. And then if you get through the first round of approval, then there's some more dollars. Might be worth the risk, because it would pick up about 60 or 70% of the cost, which would be nice.
And I just want to also point out, so between Amy and Stephen and myself, we apply for every safety possible grant that we can. We've not been approved, but we continue to look for those.
Great, thank you.
Okay, next slide. This is positions it on the site, and the addition doesn't have to go here. We just need to make sure it fits, right? The sizes are right, so it may move a little left, it may move a little right, but yeah, and you can kind of get a feeling that it does fit well there. The stars are where there's parking lot improvement. The bottom left parking lot would double the size of that lot, so give a lot more room for queuing, okay, and a lot more room for parking. I know you've had some meetings with the city. We'd need to work with them to make sure that works with their plan. And then, keep the cars and the buses separated and enhance that upper lot on the right, however that design will take place. So it really pulls some traffic on the backside to improve the traffic at the elementary school. And
That would
Rob?
also allow for potential future addition of future classrooms to the, what would be the south, actually.
Right. Yes, there'd be room for more addition, correct. Okay, any questions on the site? And then we have the next slide. If you remember the plan before for the high school secured entrance, we grabbed a lot more of the administration and we pulled the administration down at the entry and we redid like a Main Street hallway for the students. Knowing where the budgets were, we're like, okay, let's pull this back and simplify it. So we take over one classroom, and we did meet with the principal last week, and that teacher can be relocated easily. So then you can see the flow of traffic coming in. You buzz into the main office. There would be 2 or 3 employees there, and plus a career counseling and secured entrance. So there'd be 3 or 4 employees in that area, but you'd still have administration across the hallway. But it'd be a much enhanced secured entrance. Okay? Any questions at the high school?
Would our would our SRO be stationed in there?
Actually, right now, our SRO, right now Jeff's thought is to keep him where he is, just as
Yep.
adjacent to that.
Still there. Yep.
But, you know, that stuff changes every year, so.
Okay.
Is that little upper right-hand nodule thing there, that's the old
School store.
Okay. Got it.
What is it, what is that?
It's nothing right now.
What's it gonna be in there?
Drawing?
We'll design it with the
It's just-
architects.
it-
It's just space.
It's open to
Yeah.
redesigning.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just open space right now.
Yep. Okay, next slide is the budgets. Okay, we have the elementary school, I won't read them all, the square footage is there, 33.6 million. In the high school, that's come down quite a bit for that secured entrance to 380,000 for 33,980. I did have a note in here, after talking with the principals, I probably should have took it off. You've heard gyms being used as a cafeteria, right? But it wasn't very popular, so you can scratch the note. If the gym doubled as a cafeteria, you'd save about 1.6 million. But that would take away that multi-purpose space, the maker space, so we'll lose that. There is an important note on the bottom. So the dollars you see there include all the furniture, technology, professional fees, permits, commissioning, insurance, special testing, SOAR reports, on and on. And I do want to add, all work is going to be competitively bid, right? So once the drawings are done, it's put on the street, publicly bid, and then awarded at a school board to the low qualified bidder. So I just wanted to make that note.
So
Okay.
this does include all FF&E.
Yep, all furniture, that's correct.
FF&E, contingency, all that stuff.
Yes,
And the baseline cost number, what year are you using? Are you using kind of the year that it would go in?
yes,
Or,
the year it would bid.
okay,
So is the FF&E budgeted for the shaded areas or for the entire school? 'Cause there's-
Shaded areas.
Okay.
Good point.
The newer part isn't walking through there is, you know, the 90s portion. That's still in pretty good shape.
Well,
But yeah,
it- oh,
but-
yeah. Sorry, John.
Yeah, but Rob, you bring up some good points. I mean, that's, Dustin and I were just talking about that, you know, this inflation we're dealing with is making our crystal ball pretty smoky. But we've got a lot of data. We bid a lot of work recently. We're bidding a lot more next month, because it's about that time of year. We use that data. And then we figured not only inflation we went through in 2022, which is at 20% plus, depending on what you're talking about, but another 10% I added on for that next year.
got it, okay.
Okay. Last, we have the schedule. Do you want to hit that, or do you want to?
Sure,
Okay.
sure, we can maybe tag team it. So, this isn't new information, I know, many of you have seen this. The state really, is very clear with timelines and when you can hold elections and do all of those things. So for us, this is a document that shows where we're at within our work. So, should we move forward, and do a bond referendum? Our target date for an election would be, April 11th. And we would need to complete all of these things per the timeline that is reflected. And then one note, you'll see, you know, for tonight, there's going to be, we're going to request action from the board. We'll get to that in 2 slides, and that is required per this timeline. So the next slide is just a reminder about our next work session. So we have PMA, which is our financial advisors, and we also have Kraus Anderson joining us at our next work session. When you know, PMA comes, we're going to be talking about what's our target dollar amount. And we've really been looking at it from a 33.9, 34.9, 35.9. What does that look like? What's the tax impact? We've asked PMA to prepare that for us, because we know we want to keep it below $36 million, but we also want to get as much done as we can per the community's recommendations for our work. So that's going to be a piece of that work at our next work session. The other thing that's going to be important is a ballot question. Earlier, as a board, you asked for a model with 2 questions, an elementary question, a high school question. Also, we're going to bring a singular question, and that's based on the change in the scope of the project. Right now, if you're looking at a high school that's under $400,000, you want that in a one question. You wouldn't want to do that on its own. PMA recommends that, Carlos Anderson recommends that as well. But we're going to talk about it at our work session so you can all work through any questions that you have. The other piece of it is just to make sure that we ensure the scope of the projects are in alignment with that budget, and then the educational adequacy. So we want you to have time to talk through those things, consider what you heard tonight, look at those pieces, so that we can move forward solidly. And then the last thing tonight, we're looking for board direction for administration and consultants to do two things. We would ask for you to recommend that we develop and submit the review and comment document that's required by MDE, and also prepare an election resolution for board consideration in December. So we would ask and recommend that you make a motion to do those two things so that we can move forward.
Yeah, and if I could add,
Yes.
Renee, so the review and comment we'll start drafting right away. It takes a little while, a lot of drafts. That likely won't go in till the end of December or early January. So this is your permission us to start drafting it, and then eventually it's either signed by the superintendent or the chair before it goes in. But that's on that schedule too. So.
Okay, are we at that point?
Yep.
Okay. I'm looking for a motion to develop and submit, giving them permission to develop and submit a review and comment document for MDE, and also to prepare an election resolution for the board that we'll deal with in December.
Motion to approve.
Molly, is there a second?
Second.
Rob seconds. Any discussion?
I just think that the public should know that we've heard them, and I think that they should know that we're looking out for their best interest, and we have proven to be fiscally responsible up until this point. They need to believe that we're gonna continue, and we're going to get the best bids that we can, and we were gonna get the best bang for the buck that we can do for all the students and the families in our district.
Thanks, Connie.
So is there another resolution that will be done that says if we're actually going to move forward, or is this
Yes.
the move forward?
No, this is just giving them permission to start drafting the documents they need to do for MDE and to start working on it. And then we'll go in more in-depth at the November workshop meeting and come to a dollar amount that we're gonna be asking for, and come to a decision on a ballot question, if we're gonna do one or two, and what it's gonna look like. And then it will be drafted, and then we'll vote on it at our December meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Okay, any other good questions? Any other questions? Okay, if not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Review and act on the local 284 contract. Superintendent Evenson.
All right, Chair Polly, members of the board, it's been so long since we negotiated this contract. And so the story with that is that, so we actually had really great negotiations with our local 284. We actually had two meetings. We met in August, and we met, I think, September 21st. And within those two meetings, we were able to settle on a contract and reach an agreement. However, because of their ratification process with the union, with Local 284, we weren't able to have the ratified contract on our October regular meeting. So it had to be shifted to this meeting in order for them to have all of their timelines and requirements done with the Local 284 union. What I'll say about the negotiations, first of all, thank you, Lauren and Ryan and Deb. Really appreciate the work that they put in with this and then all previous contracts. This contract, we work really hard to take a look at market values. We look at neighboring districts. We look at districts that are comparable districts, size, population, staffing, all of that. We were able to really, I think, make giant steps forward with restructuring the contract and looking at alignment in some ways to other contracts, but also looking at their pay scale, getting it down to 10 steps, which was really beneficial to the district. And it also benefited our members too. our staff members. We did add $1,000 to the insurance, which was a priority for them, and it's a priority for us too, because we want to have really attractive positions that support our staff members as well. And again, to settle in 2 meetings is a big deal. So I'm really proud of the work that our negotiators did, and feel good about the process. So we would look for a motion to approve the updated contract.
Looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Ryan, is there a second?
Second.
Connie, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have review and act on the superintendent contract. I'll let Ryan speak to this. Typically, the superintendent negotiates the contract, but because I was on the ballot, I felt that it was important to have Ryan also involved with it. So, Ryan, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I guess some background on it. Renee was hired on an interim superintendent contract, which I don't remember how long, but it was a matter of months before we decided that we wanted to offer her a regular superintendent position. But at that time, we decided to make it a 2-year contract, just kind of, you know, because of where we were and where COVID was and everything else. So this is, you know, came due as an item to get through, and this is a 3-year contract. I think, you know, it's reasonable. It's a hard time to be doing these things. You know, one of the things that I feel pretty good about is we, on the board side, we did pass the contract through a little bit of a legal review that we haven't, since I've been on the board, I guess we haven't done with this contract, and you know, language is cleaned up and looking good. So I feel good about recommending the approval of it.
Okay. And I think it's fair to share that it's 2, 2, and 2 for the 3 years, so it's, you know, very, very fair.
Fair and pretty, I mean, in alignment with a lot
Yes,
of
with the other contracts, right. So I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Molly, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Rob, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Yay, we have her for 3 more years.
Yep.
You did read the whole
Yep,
thing, didn't you?
right.
Because you're not going anywhere.
I was thinking, I get to be here 3 more years.
That's right.
Great, on to board and administrative reports. We have the superintendent's report.
Try not to cry. All right, so for my report, I just have a couple of updates this month. The first one is sharing our story. So it's not a surprise, that's super important to us to make sure we're always getting our messaging out and sharing the great things that are happening within our district. We do have another editor at the JI, but I will say it's been a really great couple of editions. We've had some things. We routinely send stories and information about what's happening in our district, and we've had a couple of things highlighted these last few weeks, so that's been amazing and wonderful. Bags of Love, you know, I have, you're like, calm down. But it's exciting when we're in the JI. Bags of Love capped off Kindness Month for our grade 2 families. That was highlighted. I hope you saw it in the paper. Also, they did a really nice story on our high school band and choir, so we really appreciate that. But just wanted you to know we continue to prioritize getting that message out, and you've probably seen some new things with creation of events on social media that people can say they're interested in. That's really helpful, and you know, we're going to continue to update. Hopefully, as a board, you received a request for input and feedback on the website. Also, at the November board work session, you're going to have an opportunity to give some input and feedback too as we move forward with new website design. So we just want to continue to support our families in communication. We heard, again, through the survey and through different things, they love social media, they love emails. But we're going to continue to, you know, share those messages out. The next thing I wanted to update, first I want to say congratulations to our newly elected board members. I think we have some of them here. Welcome. Congratulations. Congratulations to all of you. Really excited for what's to come for us. Deb, Polly, and I have meetings with our 2 newly elected board members this week where we get to go through and just kind of recap, some of the responsibilities and committee assignments and those kinds of things, and get people signed up for the training. That's super important, get mentors in line and all of that. So we'll be planning as well for the leadership conference. I'm not sure if tonight, at the conclusion of the meeting, Jamie has a little sign-up sheet, and maybe it started going around good. So we can plan for all of the trainings and events and get your registrations done for that. That's an important date for our board, an important week for our board. I think the last thing that I would share here would be, first of all, congrats to our middle school kids that were in the Northwoods Nonsense production. Fantastic. Spent my Friday night at the play, giggled all night. It was really cute. They did a great job. This week, our high school play opens up as well. I think opening night's Thursday night, and it's called Our Town. So if you get a chance to take in a play, you can get tickets at the door. It's wonderful. Like, our kids do such a great job. So I'd like to encourage any community members that might be listening to come and check out a play and really support our kids. Proud of them for that. And then also, as always, just a rundown of all the dates and things that are going to be here before we know it. Reach out if you have any calendar questions. Always happy to help. Any questions about my report?
Thank you. And then in our board packet were all of the leadership team reports. Any comments or questions about any of them? I want to give a shout out to our nutrition department to get 0 violations in their middle school MDH inspection. That is phenomenal. That's great. It's really good. So, okay, on to school board member reports, and I would like to start with Kaylin.
Hi, so the Veterans Day programs at the high school and the middle school shared one, and then the elementary school, they both happened on Friday. They were huge successes. The high school and middle school really enjoyed theirs, and then the elementary school really enjoyed being able to participate in theirs. They got to sing some songs. As Superintendent Evenson said, the middle school play just happened, and the high school play starts on Thursday. On Thursday, Friday, Saturday is at 7 p.m., and Saturday is a matinee at 2 p.m. High school sports are just wrapping up. Some teams have already had their banquets. Some are really close to being done, and so that means winter sports are starting as well. So I know a couple, like the band and the choir at the high school, they had their fall concerts. Those went really well. Then winter concerts are coming up. I believe choir is in less than a month, and I think band is in just over a month. The Spanish students are back at the elementary school, helping out some of our newer Spanish-speaking students. Some of the Jordan High School students had the honor of being able to attend some honor bands. 15 students from Jordan High School went to the Gustavus Honor Band. They made up like 10% of the people there.
Wow.
And then at the elementary school, they just did the huge Raise Craze fundraiser. They actually ended up tripling their goal. So they got some fun stuff for them.
Great. Any questions for Kaylin? Great job. Thank you. Rob?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything you want to share?
No, it's been, this year's going by too quickly.
Yes.
So, got our first snowfall today, so that was kind of exciting, I think. No, I just think that, from just the perspective of finishing up some of the fall extracurricular activities and just how many of the different teams and those that were participating in fall activities, just how great and successful it sounded like everything was, and really kind of gearing up here for the winter season and the holidays. So,
Thank you. Molly?
I just want to kind of echo about the Veterans Day program at the elementary school. I was in tears, but I am every year. It was very nice to be in person at that. It's been 3 years since we've been able to do that. So it was very nice. Good production. That's all I got.
Thank you, Molly. Sarah?
I want to give kudos and credit to Kelly and the Nutritional Services Department. They've been offering catering opportunities now, so we attended the soccer banquet last Sunday. Tonight, they're catering the football banquet, and I know that Kelly's also, and the team are also doing volleyball. So I think it's amazing for us to be able to provide those opportunities, and any additional funds that are able to come in, any profit comes in, goes right back into the program. So I think that's just a great opportunity for us to be creative about services that we provide. So that was it.
Thanks, Sarah. Connie?
I just wanted to do a shout out for students again. For the Jordan Education Foundation, we offered an ambassador program, and they all came the other night, and they have more ideas than you can just even imagine. And we were talking about something, and all of a sudden, oh, in my class, we could take leadership in that. And so wide variety of kids, they're all jumping on boards, and I know that the foundation is gonna flourish because they are already taking an active part in it, so it's just awesome. So I'm excited to get to work with the kids that have stepped up to say yes.
Great, good. Thanks. Lauren?
I just wanted to congratulate all of the returning board members and then our new board members that will be joining us in January, and thank them and thanking all 8 candidates for putting their names in the hat. It's a time-consuming commitment, and it's really important work that is done in this community. So I want to thank everybody who put their name in the hat and those who also made it. With that said, the MSBA Delegate Assembly is coming up, and I'm on the Delegate Assembly. However, I can't attend this year because I am going to Florida, and I will miss it. So if anybody I've already let MSBA know that I can't make it, but they're going to pick somebody else new. I think it's Christy
Peterson from
Christy
Shakopee,
Peterson
yeah.
will pick somebody to go, and if anybody from our board is interested in going, let me know, and I'll reach out to her and let her know. The one thing I will say is, shame on me for not doing this sooner. You guys, it is, I hope to God, because I think it's a 2-year term, right?
Yeah,
And I think mine might be up at the next one.
just
and
run again.
I want to run again, but you guys, it is such an educational process. You learn how the whole legislation works. You got MSBA, who is putting this wonderful resourceful piece of information, so when you're going and voting, you know what you're voting on, you know who brought it forward. It's amazing. It's probably one of my favorite things to do all year, besides the leadership conference. Both of those events are really, really good. So if anybody's interested, let me know, and I will send Christy an email to consider you as a replacement for me.
When is that?
It is you'll have the pre-meetings, which I believe are November 17th and 18th, and those are online. They're at night, and basically you review all of the resolutions that they're bringing forward for the legislation, and then the actual meeting where you go and vote on the ones that you want to come forward is December, the first weekend in December.
So, yeah, so the pre-delegate assembly, when they go through the resolutions, are Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Saturday, and I believe that's hour and a half, is it?
Yeah.
Online.
It's online.
And then the first Friday night in December, they usually bring in really good speakers, and they do kind of a kickoff event. And then you stay overnight at the hotel on Louisiana Avenue in whatever that is, Golden Valley, I guess. And MSBA picks up the cost for that. And then the following morning, bright and early, they start, and you sit by regions and areas, and it's grassroots legislation. You vote on, everybody introduces themselves, and then you vote on the resolutions by area. So, and then it ends with lunch. It's done shortly after lunch, so. Yeah.
It's really amazing, and I will be putting my name back in the hat for next year, for 2 more years. Hopefully I get it. And then I had one other thing, and it left my brain. Candidates, delegate assembly, and one other thing. I don't remember what it is.
Well, if it comes to you, just throw it out there.
I'll just jump right in.
Okay. Ryan?
Add one quickly.
Yeah.
thing because you had talked about thanking the candidates and thanking everyone Ron and our new board members, but I want to thank Connie and Ryan.
Oh, yes.
But we still have time with you
Yes,
guys.
we
You
still
can't
have
leave
time.
yet.
Yes. No, but I just
So,
maybe, you know,
no,
I-
no
I just
excuses
wanna
for
think
skipping
about
out
it.
on
Yeah.
the next
We need a
board
party.
meetings.
Ryan?
I would like to congratulate myself for attending a
Stop
skill
it.
meeting. I've been on scale for 2 years, and this is now my second meeting, so I deserve some recognition.
We'll get to committees after we finish the board thing, so then you can talk about the scale. But
Throwing out the
congratulations.
teasers.
It's still in my spam filter. Like, I haven't figured that out after 2 years.
Anything else you
No,
want to
that's
share
it.
personal, on a personal note?
No.
Okay, I too want to thank the middle school play kids. It really was a funny play. They did a great job. I attended part of the Committed and Caring Conversations at the high school. I think that was about 2 weeks ago. And again, it's just so wonderful to see the kids so open and sharing and learning from each other and being willing to listen. There was some people there from Prayer Lake, I believe, and Belle Plaine, and somebody from St. Louis Park that came out to observe what we're doing with our Committed and Caring Conversations. So that was a good event. Yeah, the Veterans Day programs the speakers in the afternoon were amazing, absolutely amazing. It was wonderful. I want to thank Sarah and Molly for agreeing to be mentors to our new board members. So thank you for that. And with that, and I want to give a shout out to Kendra and Caleb for making it to state for cross-country. That's great.
And we've invited them for the December meeting for Jordan
Great.
Pride Awards. We invited them for tonight, but one of them had a conflict.
Okay, perfect, good. Okay, so then we'll get on to committee, city school. Ryan, you
Just
want
met.
to take that?
Yeah, just met, discussed kind of our plans for a potential elementary school project with them. I guess the survey results first, and then what led into that, and then just kind of got some updates on the city and the developments that are happening. They're still building despite interest rate changes in both Bridle Creek and Beaumont Bluffs. What else? I think the bulk of it was talking about the school projects.
Yeah. And how that's going to impact traffic flow and
Yeah.
working with the city and stuff. It
That was after I had to listen to everybody congratulate themselves on being reelected to another term.
That's funny.
We're wishing them congratulations too.
Yes, we are. We are. Okay, calendar committee, Lauren?
I haven't met with anybody on the calendar committee. When is that happening?
Oh,
Oh, wait a minute.
We're done.
We're done. Never mind. I totally forgot. Yeah.
Work session.
Huh?
Work session. We're gonna bring a copy of the work session.
Oh, we're gonna bring a copy to the work section. We did have 2 meetings on it. They brought 2 calendars forward, but we'll be talking about them at the work session. It was the first time I attended the calendar committee meeting, so it was, she forgot about it. But we'll talk at the work session more in depth on the calendars that we reviewed and which one they're bringing forward.
Yeah. Okay, great. Community ed rec, Lauren, Sarah?
We did not, our next meeting is December.
Okay. Curriculum and tech, we meet
Next Monday.
next week, Monday. Facilities,
Kind of went through it.
yeah.
We did.
Crossing out
Right.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
that'll,
updated we talked about like CERC stuff and the parking lot changes and
Little
the
bit,
city wants they want us to show progress towards putting a roundabout on here, so.
Over here.
Here, there, so we move the CERC entrance down significantly that way, which would then change the format of how this parking lot's gonna look. Would it give us more spots, so we were gonna go to 88.
It brought us to 118.
Stalls, which is nice, because even coming in from the meeting tonight, I was like, wow, there's no parking.
Football banquet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of talked about that, talked about resurfacing the high school parking lot, for resealing.
Resealing.
It. And then, yeah, just kind of how the entrance would be changing with the surface, so.
So does that mean the CERC entrance would go by the, like, a line closer to the elementary school
Teacher lot.
teacher lot thing that,
Yep.
okay.
And with
okay.
the new bill, they kind of moved that lot, or that entrance over a little bit. Cause then they were talking about like having to possibly change the entrance to the high school lots, like with the little school.
How close would that entrance be to the house that's over there?
Not that close,
No,
but,
not
but,
that close.
No.
but it will render that ball field unusable.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that was my next question.
Ball field would be unusable, but we did talk about, you know, you could change it, what the use is for.
Right.
Like they could make it a full-size soccer field.
Right.
If you take that ball field.
The
out.
issue is basically like the start of the outfield is where
Yeah.
the road would be.
But they could take that gravel and put it, they were talking about using it for the fields behind the elementary school and making those more usable ball fields then. Because right now there's no gravel back there, so they're just grass fields, so they could make it 2 more usable ball fields back there for T-ball, near-ball, whatever else.
Yep.
That would then also dovetail into any redevelopment that happens at the elementary school, I'm assuming?
Correct.
Okay.
And that was a big part of our conversation with the city tonight at the city school meeting.
So if we don't know how much all of that road stuff is gonna cost, how does that play into us coming up with our dollar amounts? Cause we've gone really from a little bit to a really large, I mean, it's a wide open amount, so how do we do that?
Well, so there are estimates attached to some of the designs from the previous design work that happened within the transportation study. And we do have those estimates. The bigger conversation tonight at City School was, would that be a bulk amount we have to put into a referendum? Or is that work something that we could be assessed over time for? Our preference is assessment over time. The city reps that were here, obviously, they're not a voting body, but that group that's a rep, their recommendation to the full council would be to assess it. And then there's still the conversation on what's the best design. We'll have to get into all of that and look at that. But then also, you know, will there be any partnership in terms of the road out there on Sunset? And there is that possibility. I think there are some unanswered questions for the city yet with the overpass and different funding responsibilities that they're trying to figure out there too. So a lot of questions yet, but we do have information right now that we could move forward and figure that out. The assessment piece is the bigger, I think, the most important thing, and the fact that that's agreeable is good.
Is that assessment, remind me again, did we split that 50/50 or who did that assessment?
That's the part we don't know, is if they will contribute 50/50, if they'll do 60/40.
For the assessment or for, I guess I'm thinking about it 2 parts. So there's the
Partnership?
the changes to the roadway. And then there's obviously the study to be able to identify kind of what's the best option
Study's done.
forward. Is the assumption that we're on the hook for all of the road work?
That's what we don't know. That's what we don't know, is the road conversation, and
Okay.
they won't make that decision until they have some clarity with what the funding will look like for their overpass. That's what they told us this evening.
I think part of the challenge is the timing doesn't align for
Okay.
the stuff that they have on their plate and our timeline for a desire to get the elementary school addressed, right? And so that's where, you know, if they were agreeable to an assessment and provide some flexibility for that to happen, not necessarily in complete tandem with the remodel of the school itself, right? But, you know, there's also some questions about taking a look at it. I think this was a 5-year-old traffic study that was driven by information that the school board, or the school board, the school provided. And so I do think it'd be worthwhile to go and take a look at some of our assumptions and.
And who financed that?
It was split.
Study 5 years
That
ago.
was, the
between the
study
city
was
and the school.
50/50.
That was a 50/50?
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
But, I mean, there's certain things, you know, you could look at things like dismissal times that haven't been looked at.
Right.
And staggering that makes a big difference from a maximum traffic load standpoint.
Yeah, well, I gotta believe that if the school's gonna be on the hook, there's a minimum requirement component, and if there's room for a partnership, wayfinding could be a little bit more enhanced. I mean, but it really kind of, but it sounds like that's something that we've got to kind of work through
Yep.
in follow-up discussions. Okay, cool.
Well, and I want to comment, we've come a long way in 5 years. So at least the fact that we're all sitting at the same table makes a big difference right now.
Oh, 100%.
That
Yeah.
we have come a long way, and we can't just say it was that way. We, on both sides, have grown, and we appreciate that.
And I heard very clearly tonight, and maybe you two heard the same thing, but I heard great support, great understanding, pride in what we're doing, and appreciation for, you know, looking at that alignment to community feedback and all of that. But just like you as board members are responsible to, you know, the community, and you think about that community input and feedback, they're thinking as well about, you know, their responsibility to the taxpayers in the city too, and I have appreciation for that as well. So it was a good conversation. I feel like, you know, we'll keep having those conversations, and I felt a commitment to keep having those.
Very much so.
That was great.
Great, thank you. Facilities, negotiations, oh, we're done for a fast 5 minutes.
I'm done.
At least until June 30th.
Great time to get on that committee. Inflation, year-over-year inflation is 10%.
Meet and confer, did not meet. Policy.
We're
we
meeting Thursday.
Meet Thursday, yes, yep. Okay, Connie, the foundation, I know you talked a little bit about it, but you have more on that, Connie or Molly?
No, the one with the
With
kids,
the- all the
with the kids there?
ambassadors,
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
It was going over stuff with the kids and listening to them be.
And Visner was there and kind of helping
Yeah.
facilitate that with the students too, so it was good, it was a really good meeting.
Great, good. Ta-da, scale.
Before, can I let you guys know Jeff will be there tomorrow night because I will be at Southwest Metro as the rep. So Jeff emailed me this weekend, saw that I was double booked, and he will come tomorrow night.
I will not be there because I'm getting my new knee at 11 o'clock tomorrow.
You
Nice.
are?
Oh,
Oh, my
yay.
goodness.
So I will be not there, but I'll be at the workshop.
Yeah.
Well, we're sending you good vibes for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'll be bionic by the
You'll be ready for your trip.
I will be ready to walk across Ireland.
Yes,
It's amazing.
well.
Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, scale.
I don't remember. No, I'm just kidding. Renee guilted me going to scale because we hosted. But it was good. There was, I don't know how many superintendents,
them.
all the Scott County, including like Burnsville Savage.
Yep.
And it was kind of cool to see just the, I mean, very different size districts, right, with different challenges. Yeah, very well. Glad we got her under contract for 3 more years.
Oh, boy. And we meet Friday, and we meet
We
again
do?
this Friday. Yeah, we do.
Oh.
We do.
I'm in Nashville.
In Shakopee, though, Lauren couldn't figure out why I got lost going to the Link Center because they mix it up all the time.
Oh, really?
Complete, I'm like, where are you going?
I totally missed my turn, but I also was talking. But anyways,
Yeah.
it's in Shakopee this time.
No, the meeting's before your flight, Ryan, so you should be able to make it, no problem.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta get in one
You
more.
can still remote into that one, can't
You can.
you? I won't be.
Yeah. They're gonna talk about legislative priorities.
Yes. Oh.
And it's not gonna be a WebEx.
Oh, it is
either.
not, that's right, you
No.
can't remote in anymore.
You can't remote in for the Shakopee location. I actually went to the meeting too, and it was, again, the
It
first
was right
time.
next to each other.
Yeah. It was the first time I attended one of those meetings, and oh my God, why didn't I go sooner? But I wasn't on the committee back then, so now that I'm on the committee, I'm gonna go now to all
I
the
honestly
Friday
would,
meetings.
I would go, but like seriously, I didn't get the dang email for like 2 years and I was missing,
We never will.
it was crazy.
They haven't fixed it. I just know to look in my junk mail once a month.
Yeah.
I swear.
So then you'll just schedule a meeting with me on those
Yeah.
meeting days, so
Yeah.
I can go,
Yeah.
She never
because
did that for me, she's not doing that for you.
I'm still here, I didn't bail on her.
Yeah, sorry.
So that was a really, really good meeting. Renee gave a presentation to everybody. I'm just adding a little bit more to what Ryan had said. And then also they had the superintendents get up and kind of do a panel to talk about the challenges, and one of them was,
Employment was the focus.
yeah, the employment was the focus and how to retain employees, and it's not only just teachers, it's across the board with paras and everything, so all districts are having troubles keeping employees,
I would
so.
probably put us on the lower end of that spectrum
Yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
some of the stuff I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
We're doing
Yeah.
better than
Yeah.
most.
Yes.
Yeah, that's encouraging, yeah.
Good. Southwest Metro, we meet tomorrow night. Renee will be our guest superintendent, so that will be fun. We got a nice windfall this week of, how much?
$49,000
It was
rebate.
yeah, rebate on the online programming that they divvied up the proceeds between the member districts, so that was a nice win, a nice win. We're gonna be talking about possibly bringing Burnsville on as an associate member, which will be interesting. It's a big district.
Yeah.
Other than that, we'll be doing our audit, so I'll have more to report on that at the December meeting, so. Booster Club?
I will refer to you. I was not able to make the last time.
Yeah, so we're going strong. We are going to be talking more about our, kind of our 3-year strategic plan. I think this Wednesday, but again, really kind of two-parter. One, really trying to make sure that we're streamlining our funding sources kind of coming in, trying to make that as easy as possible to support all the activities. And so that really includes our corporate sponsorships, the gambling operation, and then trying to do a gala. So we are going to be doing an annual gala that we're going to be starting next year, and then that's going to be in partnership with the Education Foundation, which I think is a really, really kind of cool tie-in, and something where, again, just really trying to find some of those different synergies. So the Booster Club is all about our kids and the extracurricular activities that they're participating in, whether it's band or choir or some of the sports or robotics. So it's enhancing the extracurricular piece. The Education Foundation is really enhancing what's going on in the classroom. And so I think that there's just natural kind of synergies there, and so kind of hopefully creating this gala to be able to kind of showcase that and help both of the organizations, because all of the dollars that are generated ultimately come back to the district and come back to the kids. So I think that that's pretty exciting. And then I think we're also starting to get the word out a little bit too, in terms of coaches and directors that are wanting to use our dollars, which is a really good thing, because we don't want to just be sitting on those. We want to be able to advance the different activities, be able to get that word out, and hopefully create a little bit of a snowball to get more people energized and engaged. So yeah, so all good things, and actively working too, because now as we're transitioning from the fall season to the winter season, that means a new activities guide. So actively working on putting that together, so more to come on that.
Great. Thank you for all your work on that. That's awesome.
The activities guide that you guys put together for the fall was amazing, so I can't wait to see the one that you guys do for
Yeah.
winter, because that's really a great promotional piece for our athletics activities and all of our partners within not ours, the Booster Club's partners.
Yeah, and it's all parent volunteer. So we have amazing partners, board members, and these are all super busy moms and dads that are wanting to give back to some degree, and they absolutely just knock it out of the park. They do a phenomenal job.
So do you guys reach out to the coaches, or you wait for the coaches to reach out?
That is an excellent point. We want it to be back and forth. So I think that there's an opportunity for us to continue to be more proactive in reaching out, but we want to do it within boundaries and within reason. We know that coaches are really busy, particularly in season. And so we don't, we want to be viewed as helpful to them. We don't want to be annoying or anything kind of like that. But and I think really kind of from the reaching out perspective, we want to help educate in terms of where can we, what's the appropriate way for us to be able to support those programs, because we're an enhancer. So anything that they need that's just like kind of the fundamentals, that's what the district provides, and that's the expectation. But if we can enhance the program overall, whether that's through equipment or an experience or something like that, we absolutely can do that. We want to be able to do that. Really, the only restriction that we have is that we can't donate dollars to a specific individual, a specific kid. But if we can give it to the program overall, and then the program decides how they give that to the kids, whoever are participating, whether it's robotics or the basketball team or volleyball or soccer, then that's completely kind of within bounds. So it's kind of a two-parter. Number one is just it's awareness that we're out there and that we're a resource and that we want to help. And then number two, how do you ask for it? And really, the two ways to ask for it, if you're leading one of these extracurricular activities, is identify what it is that you need and give a ballpark of how much you think it's going to cost, and then send it to us. We'll review it. We'll, 9.9 times out of 10, we'll say yes, and the money's yours. It's really that simple.
Good to know. Thank you. Anything else on the booster? Okay, APAC, that was covered tonight. In our regular work session, SEAC didn't meet. Legislative, we'll be doing delegate assembly. MSHSL, just wrapping up. We hosted the one of the state football tournaments on Friday night, so that was great PR for our district. Really good for that. I think that is it for board committees. In light of the fact that we're coming into the new year and January 1st or January 9th will be our first Monday meeting in January, I'm going to send out a survey to the board members, getting your feel for what committees you might want to serve on, because we'll be doing with Connie and Ryan leaving and getting new board members on. We'll be doing some shuffling of committees, so I'll shoot that out to you in the next couple weeks. And then also get on your calendar January 28th. That's the date that we're planning on doing our fall retreat with the administrative team. So Renee is working on finding a location and a time for that. And with that,
You said that's the 28th of January?
January 28th.
This
It's a Saturday.
Saturday?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that a morning thing?
It's a full day.
All day. That's
All
what we
day.
did last year at Dean Lakes.
We sat by each other.
Yeah.
I won't put you under the fan.
Huh?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Is it
And-
gonna be at Dean Lakes again?
They're working on that.
We haven't decided yet, but it's possible.
Okay. Anything else?
Oh, I just wanted to say one thing. I want to congratulate, because I've already congratulated the board members, City Council and Ben Bakeberg.
Oh, yes.
Wish
Yes.
him the best of luck at the House, and looking forward to watching what he can do. So congratulations, Ben Bakeberg.
Ditto, Joe. Okay.
Would anybody else like to step on my motion?
I do.
Motion to adjourn.